Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going over 5 players in fantasy football that I think could struggle in week 14 for you. Doesn't mean necessarily that you have to sit these guys, but just take my advice into account. Take the stats that I list for you into account. Make your own decisions, of course. If you guys are new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button and also drop a like on the video at the end, of course, if any of this information helped you guys out. First player on this list is a guy that has been struggling these past couple of weeks. He had a decent bounce back game last week, but it's nothing to be too excited about. Dameon Pierce on one of the worst offenses that I've ever seen in football. This is a absolute catastrophe. I'm not gonna lie. Going up against the Dallas Cowboys this week, who have the 5th best rushing defense against fantasy football running backs in the league up to this point in week 14. Not feeling great about it. All right, I expect this to be a blowout game, I'm not gonna lie. And the past 3 weeks that I've had the pleasure, the absolute pleasure of going up against the defense that is playing the Houston Texans, it never goes good. It absolutely never goes good. Last week against the Cleveland Browns, the Browns had 30 points for their defensive special teams. That's absolutely ridiculous. I think it was 4 interceptions, 2 fumble recovery, something ridiculous like that. This is not going to be any different in my eyes. They're playing an even better defense than they have been playing. What can really happen here? Dameon Pierce not going to go anywhere on the ground, in my opinion. And they're certainly not going to be ahead in this game at all, unless something drastic happens. Unless, you know, the script has been totally flipped. The Texans look amazing all of a sudden. I don't think that's the case at all. I would definitely be putting Pierce on the bench if you can afford to play, you know, someone with a better matchup. That's just what I'm seeing here. Next up is going to be Devin Singletary, and he's going up against the New York Jets here. Not particularly the worst matchup in the world. The Jets are 14th against running backs in fantasy. The thing I really don't like is James Cook's role last week just skyrocketed. All right, he actually out-carried Devin Singletary for the first time all season, I believe. So that's not good. That's definitely not what you want to see. Similar to the Jamal Williams situation that we were talking about in our last video, where I was saying that Swift is going to have another good week coming up. The same goes for Devin Singletary, but on the opposite side of things. I think he's going to continue to get less and less work throughout the weeks. James Cook is emerging what you would hope to be that #1 running back in Buffalo, even though Buffalo literally hates running the ball. They rarely ever run the ball. It's like the Chiefs over here, but James Cook, I think, is the guy you want in this backfield. So if you have Devin Singletary, I definitely think twice about starting him this week. Next up is another guy coming back from injury here, Michael Carter. All right, Zonovan Knight has proven himself that he needs to be involved in this offense week in and week out. So I don't think anything changes here. I would even argue that they start Zonovan Knight over Michael Carter. I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but I would expect Carter's touches to be limited in this contest. Maybe they want to take it easy on him. Maybe they want to start Knight. I don't know what the deal is going to be, but limit your expectations here. Going against the Buffalo Bills, not the toughest run defense to go against. I know Michael Carter presents that pass catching upside that you might want in your offense, but Zonovan Knight can also pass catch very well out of the backfield. So kind of a toss-up situation here. I'd be very cautious on starting Michael Carter this week. Next up on this list is DJ Moore, Mr. Inconsistent. Now he's got Sam Darnold at quarterback locked in and finalized, and the headlines are all saying, you know, is DJ Moore back? This always happens with DJ Moore. If you take a look at the stats here, he had in the past against Tampa Bay in week 7, 19.6, and then Atlanta in week 8, 27.5. After that, 4.4, 6.9, 5.4. Then finally, as a bounce back game here, 20.3. The thing that I don't love about DJ Moore at all, especially even in this last matchup, 6 targets. That's not 10. That's not 12. That's not what you want to see out of your, #1 wide receiver in Carolina. This offense is not good. And if they are in this matchup at all, I guarantee they run Donta Foreman into the ground. 30 rushing attempts if they're in this matchup at all. If they fall behind, you have a better chance at it, but still, Seattle is giving up the 7th fewest fantasy points to wide receivers. So I'd expect DJ Moore to come down to earth here, back to his normal amount, you know, 6, 7, 8 points. maybe even fewer. We'll see what happens. If he does catch a touchdown for you, though, that's the best case scenario. A deep touchdown for DJ Moore. You can't ask for anything more out of the guy. Next guy up on this list is Michael Gallup. And I think that I'm going to put Michael Gallup on here over CeeDee Lamb because obviously CeeDee Lamb is going to get more targets, and I expect this game to be an absolute blowout. I mean, Tony Pollard is so talented on the ground. Then you got Zeke, the powerhouse. I think they're going to run the ball 40, 50 times in this matchup. I don't think they're going to be passing the ball much whatsoever after maybe the first or second quarter. So that very severely limits your expectations on CeeDee Lamb, on Michael Gallup. Who knows, though? I mean, in the past couple of weeks, the Cowboys have been up. They've leaned heavily on Pollard and Zeke. Can we continue that trend? I think so. Houston's actually ranked 4th against wide receivers in fantasy points given up, but I think the reason that is because it's so skewed. They're getting blown out every single game that every other team is just running the ball down their necks every time. So tell me if I'm wrong in the comment section down below. Do you think this Cowboys game is going to be a blowout? Or do you think CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup get severely involved? Other than this week, though, going forward, I do like Michael Gallup. So keep him on your team. Do not drop Michael Gallup. He will definitely be useful in your fantasy playoffs. Anyways, guys, if you learned any information here today, drop a thumbs up on the video. Also, hit that subscribe button. I will catch you in the next one. Peace.